Any day now, one of the most important documents in modern American history will be finished, and we're going to be one step closer to getting answers, we'll hopefully get them, about the events surrounding the 2016 presidential election. Almost 3 years after the hotly contested campaign, Special Counsel Robert Mueller's report is expected to be completed and submitted, and no matter what the outcome, history will be made. New Attorney General Bill Barr will face one of the biggest challenges any AG could imagine just weeks after his Senate confirmation. Can't see he didn't say it coming. Since then, the new year, officials have told NBC that the special counsel could likely wrap his case as early as the end of February, which is next week. Mueller would then submit the report to the new Attorney General, now overseeing the investigation, and could give Barr insight into any potential case against the president for coordination with Russia during the election. And while President Trump said it would be Barr's decision on how to proceed with the report, here's what the Attorney General said in his confirmation hearing on that very issue.
I will follow the special counsel regulations scrupulously and in good faith, and on my watch, Bob will be allowed to finish his work. It is very important that the public and Congress be informed of the results of the special counsel's work. My goal will be to provide as much transparency as I can consistent with the law.
Will you commit to making any report Mueller produces at the conclusion of his investigation available to Congress and to the public?
As I said in my statement, I am going to make as much information available as I can, consistent with the rules and regulations that are part of the special counsel regulations. The Attorney General, as I understand the rules, would report to Congress about the conclusion of the investigation, and I believe there may be discretion there about what the Attorney General can put in that report.
I sense a little wiggle room there. Joining us now, NBC News contributor Jill Wine-Banks and Daily Beast politics superstar reporter Betsy Woodruff. Okay, Jill, I want to unpack some of what Attorney General Barr said at his hearing, because I feel like he hinted that he's got some discretion about what goes into the report. What does that mean? I mean, Mueller writes the report and then, he puts some stars and question marks on it?
Basically, unfortunately, the way the rules are written for this particular special counsel, there is discretion in the Attorney General. And that's unfortunate given what he had written in his memo about what he thought about the Mueller investigation and about the opportunity to indict the president. He's already spoken on that. He sounded a little differently when he was testifying at his confirmation. I have been urging that there be public hearings so that the facts can be judged by the American people, so that witnesses' body language and their testimony can be evaluated, their credibility assessed by the people who have to make decisions in the next election. So that's an important element, even if the Mueller report were to be released completely. The other way to release it, if Barr will not release it, is through applying to a court so that grand jury testimony can be released to the Congress for their evaluation of possible impeachment, if that is warranted. And of course, we don't know what conclusions Mueller has reached. So if there is something there, it may be possible to get it to Congress for their evaluation.
Okay, whenever Barr mentioned transparency, though, he had this caveat within the special counsel rules. How exactly does that work?
Well, first of all, he can change the rules. Those rules are set. Barr, yes, it's set by the Department of Justice. So when he says he's bound by the rules, he isn't. He is the rule maker. And so I think that if he felt legitimately that the public interest required making this public, and that could be if he felt that he was that the report exonerated the president. That's something the people need to know just as much as if the report says that if he were not president, he would be indicted because the evidence is of a crime. The only reason that he might not be indicted is because of the Office of Legal Counsel opinion. And that's something that could be tested. It can go to the Supreme Court and let them decide. There's nothing in the Constitution that clearly says you cannot indict a president. And many people in America, I mean, all you have to do is read Twitter and you will see that people feel no one is above the law, and that if you say that the president cannot be indicted even though there's evidence of his criminal activity, then somebody is above the law.
Joe, my friend, I'm not sure if I agree with you if we should start making decisions based on what the Twitterverse tells us. Betsy, what are you hearing about the report? How close is Mueller to being finished? How far did he go? What are we going to get?
There was an interesting conversation this morning that former FBI acting director Andy McCabe had with reporters shortly before his interview with Andrea Mitchell on this network. Of course, McCabe hasn't been in government for upwards of a year, but he was asked what his take was on these reports about the Mueller report coming out. McCabe, of course, played if not the pivotal role in kicking off the Mueller investigation. And he said that while he didn't have any inside information about the trajectory of the Mueller investigation or the status of the report, he suggested that he would be a little surprised if the report comes out as soon as this next week. One of the reasons I think that a number of folks are a little bit perplexed about some of this reporting, which is wide, is that there's still litigation going on before the Supreme Court where Mueller's team is trying to get an unnamed foreign entity that appears to be a financial institution to cooperate in some way with his investigation. Of course, it's possible that Mueller would hand over whatever information that foreign entity would have to another U.S. attorney's office. We know that he's been kind of jettisoning different branches of his investigations to different components throughout the Justice Department. But that said, there's still a lot of pots on the stove for Mueller, whether he is the one that takes those different threads of the investigations through to their conclusion or gives them to other folks in DOJ after providing a report to Bill Barr as soon as within the coming days is a big open question.
That's got to be a big stove. All right, we got to talk about Roger Stone. We know he apologized for posting on Instagram the picture of the judge, but he's still posting. So help me understand what's going on. He's asking for help in his epic fight against the anti-Donald Trump deep state. How's that going to play into today's hearing?
Well, it's certainly not going to make Roger's life any easier. Federal judges don't like to see these kind of things. They're not fans of seeing their pictures with crosshairs next to their heads. One thing that Stone has been saying for quite some time is that this investigation has strained his finances. That certainly is not something that is outside the realm of plausibility. Lawyers cost a lot of money, and it seems like he posted this ridiculous and incendiary meme as part of an effort to make money. Unfortunately, the result might be that it could potentially get him put under house arrest or even put in jail, depending on how the judge reads the post that he put up.
Joe, what do you think the judge is going to do here?
It's hard to say. She will for sure take some action to limit his ability to do things of this nature. She will certainly at least dress him down, so to speak, which is particularly appropriate for Roger Stone. But I think there's another thing about Roger Stone, which is the search of his premises has yielded apparently so much information that delays have been necessary. That's another reason to think that the Mueller investigation would not be over, because if he's still reviewing documents from an active case that he's involved in, why would he conclude the investigation now? There are still trials to be had. You don't normally wrap up until all of the things that you've been working on are done. So I'm sort of agreeing with, apparently I didn't hear Mr. McCabe say this, but I think that it's not clear that the reporting is accurate, that there will be a report by the end of this month.
Hey, MSNBC fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down there and click on any of the videos here to watch the latest interviews and highlights. You can get more MSNBC for free every day with our newsletters. Just visit msnbc.com/newsletters to sign up now.